I never thought I'd be the one to bring down an HOA president, but that's exactly what I did. It all started over a barbecue of all things. A simple Saturday afternoon burgers sizzling on the grill, a cold soda in hand, and an innocent family get-together. It should have been a peaceful day, right? But no. You see, our neighborhood is run by Karen. You know the type, the one who takes control of everything, even the air you breathe. If you're in the middle of a quiet moment, she's probably hovering above with her drone camera trained on you like some kind of airborne paparazzi. I'd had enough. I'd had enough of being watched, enough of her making rules that no one ever agreed to, and definitely enough of her invading my personal space. It all started when that drone came buzzing into our yard like it owned the place. I was standing by the grill flipping burgers when I saw it hovering over us, drifting closer and closer. At first I thought maybe it was just some neighborhood kid's toy. But no, the camera zoomed in. Not on the grill, not on the burgers, not even on me. No, it zoomed right in on Ellie, my teenage daughter lost in her book on the swing, unaware that she was the star of Karen's creepy little reality show. Was done, but no. It drifted right back, was done, but no. It drifted right back toward Karen's house. I followed it and watched it zip back to her place. Of course it was her. Who else would be flying drones around spying on neighbors? That evening I went over to her house. I knocked on the door, ready to confront her. She answered, of course, with that fake smile she wears when she's about to turn into the dictator of our little neighborhood. She was holding a wine glass so big it could have held a goldfish. She gave me that plastic smile of hers as I said, "Hey, I think your drone flew over our yard this afternoon." She didn't even try to deny it. "I know," she said. "Just a quick flyover. I was doing a routine neighborhood safety check. Someone's been leaving their trash bins out a little too long." I stared at her, wondering if she was really this delusional. "Right," I said, keeping my voice steady, except it hovered over my daughter. "That's not a safety check, that's surveillance." She took a sip from her glass like she couldn't care less. "If you've got nothing to hide, you shouldn't mind being watched. Besides, it's legal. It's not like I landed it in your yard." And with that, she shut the door in my face. I walked back home seething. Angela saw my face as soon as I walked in. "She really said that?" she asked. I nodded. And that's when it all started. The very next morning, we got our first citation. Something ridiculous, improper grill cover. Apparently the canvas one I bought from Home Depot didn't meet her standards. It was the first of many. Over the next few days, Karen's citations started piling up like a bad joke. Garden tools, visible from the street, unregistered decorative rocks, even a warning for a winchum. Yeah, I'm serious, a winchum. By now it was clear that Karen wasn't just a rule enforcer. She was a one-woman surveillance state. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized just how far she'd taken things. So I did what any reasonable person would do. I did some research. It didn't take long to identify her drone. It was a high-end military-grade surveillance model, not something you'd find in a hobbyist's basement. This was a tool for reconnaissance. But Karen didn't know what I knew. I wasn't just some average guy who liked to grill on weekends. I spent 6 years working with government contractors designing counter-surveillance tech. I helped create software that could jam, redirect, and even disable drones. I walked away from that world for a quieter life, but Karen had just dragged me back into it. That night I pulled out my old gear signal scanners, frequency readers, and jammers. This wasn't going to be illegal, no. Just immensely inconvenient. The next morning I sat on the patio sipping a smoothie, watching her drone float above me. I activated a low-power pulse jammer. The drone wobbled, dipped, then corrected itself. I turned the jammer off and sipped my smoothie like nothing happened. Karen's drone came back the next day, and sure enough, it was met with another jam. Her paranoia started to show. By the time she sent out an HOA-wide email about foreign interference, I knew I had her right where I wanted her. The kids left for school, and again around the kids left for school, and again around 3:30 p.m. when everyone started getting home from work. It circled our cul-de-sac like it was patrolling its territory, zooming in on homes that didn't comply with her endless list of rules. But it hovered longer around my house. And that made it personal. Karen wasn't just enforcing HOA rules. She was out for blood. She had a vendetta, and I was the target. So I made my move. I built a directional jammer disguised as a birdhouse, sat it on my patio railing, and waited for her drone to fly by. When it did, I flipped the switch. The drone jerked in midair, wobbled, and tried to steady itself. I turned the jammer off after 5 seconds. The drone zapped back to her house like it was scared. It didn't take long for her to send out another frantic HOA email. She claimed someone was sabotaging her surveillance using foreign technology. I knew she was spiraling. But Karen wasn't done. No, she hired a private security firm to install a signal repeater on her roof, boosting her drone's range. I knew she was preparing for a battle, but what she didn't know was that I was one step ahead. The next day, the drone came back, this time with a tiny speaker. As it hovered near my porch, it blared a garbled message. "This is private property. Please comply with HOA regulations." Ellie came running out, eyes wide. "Is she sending audio messages now? What is this?" A flying Karen. I couldn't help but laugh. That was the moment I realized Karen had crossed a line. This wasn't about rules anymore. It was personal. And I wasn't about to let her get away with it. The next test would be the final one. I upgraded my jammer with a signal spoofer. Instead of simply jamming the drone, I would make it think it was somewhere else. I set the target her pool. The irony wasn't lost on me. The very thing she had used to spy on us was about to be her own undoing. The next HOA meeting was the perfect time for my plan. I didn't want to confront her. I wanted to set the stage for her downfall. When I plugged my USB into the projector and played the footage, the drone circling our yards, hovering over windows, creeping up on kids playing in the yard, the room fell silent. And then came the killer shot. Karen's own living room, the drone flying outside my daughter's bedroom, the smoking gun. The board president, Howard, cleared his throat and said, "Karen, is that your living room?" That was it. Her reign was over. Karen stormed out of the meeting, but I wasn't finished yet. That night I activated my spoofer and her drone once again drifted toward her pool. This time she noticed. She screamed. The drone spiraled out of control and fell into her pool with a huge splash. The next morning, silence. No emails, no citations, just silence. The neighborhood felt lighter, like a weight had been lifted. People whispered about the drone malfunctioning and diving into the pool. Some said it was divine justice. I just smiled. A few weeks later, the HOA sent out a new rule: no aerial surveillance. The Karen Clause, they called it. It was the neighborhood's victory. People joked kids played outside without fear of drones overhead. Karen. She disappeared, her blinds shut tight, her yard growing wild, and for the first time in a long time I could breathe easy. The neighborhood could breathe easy. Karen's reign was over.